G'day, Steve here, Woodworking Masterclass. Welcome back to the workshop and part 2 of the specialty bench I'm building to go in the house. But the process I'm using, as I mentioned before, with building this bench is exactly the same as the process I use for making the benches in my workshop. And soon, the 100% hand tool workshop will be in operation, and I'll be videoing from there and hopefully do a couple of live streams as well. Anyway, back onto the sausage stuffing bench. Remember last time I glued it all up, I had a bit of an accident there. And just for the benefit of those who thought that that was put on, no, it was not. It actually happened that way and I was pretty disappointed. But anyway, we've got it sorted. I've got the legs all glued together. There's one set there, there's 3 legs down there. And over there are the 2 parts to the bench itself. So now what I've got to do is get those, we'll go out to the thicknesser and I'll machine those. And then once they've been machined, those 2 ends I can glue together and we can start working on the legs and working out if I'm going to have a shelf there or not and what we're going to do. Also got a great idea for all the offcuts that I've had. And what I'm going to do with that is make a circular chopping board. And we might even make a lazy Susan to go with it as well. Anyway, out to the thicknesser and we'll machine this timber up. The glue on the legs is still a little bit tacky on the underneath, so we'll just do the tops for now. And we'll get that together and we'll be ready to go. See how thick this is. We'll set that to 51, so here we go. Providing I get a finished size at 40, I'm going to be happy. We'll go as flat as we can. There we go. There we have it, that's the top. That's the other top, so that means that one's going to go that way. And that one's going to go that way. And that's how it's going to sit. So what I've got to do now is shoot, you can see there's a gap there. I've got to shoot this on the jointer to get 2 good edges here. I'm not worried about the outside edge, that can be a little bit out, doesn't matter. But I want to have a good strong joint here. So I'll go over to the jointer, shoot those, then back into the workshop and we'll glue them together. Okay, here we are at the jointer. I'm only going to take a little bit off. So we might not want the bed that wide. That'll do. So here we go. Dusty on. Same to the other side. Pretty good too. All right, let's go and glue them together. The trick to make sure your paper doesn't go up between your glue joint, because it won't take. All right, that's pretty good. Said before, don't be stingy with the glue. Get any brush hairs that come out as well. Now I haven't docked these to length, and the reason for that is because when they're glued together, my thicknesser should still be able to take the width of it, I think, so I want to give it a skim through the thicknesser. And if I get any snipe, which is when the rollers underneath push the job into the blades and you get those little dips at the beginning and end of your machining. If I cut them to length, it's going to be in the job, whereas if I don't, and it happens, it's a good chance it's going to be in the waste area. So I won't have to do a huge amount of sanding. So line that up there. That's pretty good, that's pretty good. There you go. That's that. I'll leave that for 24 hours to glue. Once the excess glue is dry on the legs, I'll machine those up. Then tomorrow we'll put that through the thicknesser just to skim it, cut it to size, and then we'll go ahead and continue building the bench. All right, a couple of days has gone by, but as you can see, the top is finished. I put it through the thicknesser, glued it together when it came out of the clamps, put it through the thicknesser, it's nice and smooth. And then unfortunately I got carried away with what I was doing, and I finished the legs and I dad over them and I made the rails, and at the end of the day I went, oh no, I meant to film that. So I'll bring you up to speed. So here are the legs, and as you can see they've been checked out for the side rails, top and in the middle. That's the front rail, which I'll have a shelf sitting on, and they've been all machined and nicely smoothed. And the rails have been machined. I think there's some final fitting to be involved in that. And then what I've got to do is drill the holes, put bolts in and put it all together. That I didn't do, so I can share that with you now. And what I'll be using is this terrific bit of gear here, again sent to me from Viva, and I've got to do a review on it. The review video will be out in the next couple of days. and so I'm sort of jumping the gun using it before I finish editing the review video. But I have found it so useful, and this is an unpaid plug. I think it's great. It was made, I think, ostensibly for metalwork, but when you watch the review, you'll see how handy it can be in the workshop. And hopefully you get a few ideas watching me drill these legs out using it. So, we'll use that. And also, while I'm talking to Viva, this is the meat grinder I'll be using, which they kindly gave me. And again, there'll be a review video on this shortly, but this has got nothing to do with those videos. This is me making a project here. And the table is to take this 5 litre sausage stuffer. And that was how it came about. I think I might have mentioned Sue and I started to make our own sausages. And so we were going to buy these, and then Viva approached me about the electromagnetic drill. And I said, listen, I noticed you've got sausage stuffers and grinders on your website. Can we buy one of those? And they said, well, yeah, okay, but how could you fit that into woodwork? I said, it's got nothing to do with woodwork, but I'm going to make a sausage station so we can have it all set up in the house, and when we're ready to make sausages, we just wheel it out, because this is going to be on casters. And so, thank you, Viva, once more. They sent me this one, but you'll see this in action in part 3, and I'll do a review then. But this is what it's all about. It's to fit a meat grinder on and a sausage stuffer, so we don't have to have it on the dining room table or put it away in the cupboard and then have to pull it out when we need it and what have you. So there you go. That's what it's all meant to fit. First of all, I'm going to line the legs up, and then we'll drill them, and for that I'll use this bit of kit here. And to fit these, are not quite fitting in, so I might just knock a little bit off of that with a hand plane. Oh, it's going to be so nice to have my shed finally sorted out. When that's going to happen, I don't know, but soon, I hope. There you go. Let's see if that fits. It didn't need that much coming off, just a little bit. I could do maybe a little bit more. That one fits in there nicely. This one here fits in. So take a little bit off of this one. So, ow! I'll just do that from here. Knock that blade off a little bit. That's the beauty about hand tools. You can just take just the barest bit off at a time. And there we go. Now I use a big metal plate to use this with, and I talk about that in the review and how it helps. But all you need to know at the moment, I'm using a big metal plate. Now we do the hole for the bolt. going all the way through, because I don't want to drill into my bench. But at least 3/4 of the way through. And that's where I'll leave it for part 2. I'll drill the rest of those holes, put them all together, and then in part 3 we'll actually assemble it, take it up to the house, put the sausage stuffer on, put the grinder on it, and make some sausages. But until then, remember to keep it sharp, but more importantly, keep it safe, look after yourself, be kind to each other. And I look forward to having your company in the workshop, at the workbench again, very, very soon. God bless. Bye for now.